Back in the day, there used to be bait fishing regulars at the top end of the lake, two of which were Chris and Steve. Chris was the girlfriend, Steve was the boyfriend. They were both probably in their 60s, and they were both homeless. And sometimes I would go down and say hello to them before I went fishing. And they would have a campfire and they would fish all night long. And for 20 years, they were trying to catch a single keeper walleye. They hadn't caught a keeper walleye in 20 years. So I went down to them one night, and they had two friends with them, Candy and Eugene. Candy, not to be rude, but she wasn't easy on the eyes. She had a huge witch's nose. I'm pretty sure mentally she wasn't all there. And Eugene was clearly mentally handicapped and very, very angry. All he did was swear, just constant swearing. And they were both trading a rod back and forth, fighting a snag that they thought was a fish, and swearing. And so I wormed my way upstream 100 yards. And over the course of the night, I'm catching walleye like it's my job, because it was my job. I caught a couple dozen or whatever, a normal night. And suddenly, I hear the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life, 100 yards downstream, coming from Chris and Steve. And I could not believe it. It startled me so badly. It was so incredibly loud. And a little bit later, I hear them yelling my name, Tim, Tim. And I hear them coming through the brush trying to find me. And I noped out of there so hard. And I wormed my way back to the car and left. The next night, I went down there in the evening, and it was just Chris and Steve. And I was like, Steve, what the heck happened? You know, I assumed he capped Eugene with a 500 Smith & Wesson. I really didn't know. And he said, oh, I threw a can of bug spray in the fire. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. That's unbelievable. And Chris breaks out her cell phone and calls Eugene and says, hey, Eugene, why don't you tell Tim how you were so scared last night that you peed yourself? And all I hear over the phone is just a slew of swearing. If you want to hear more stories like this, you can buy my book, Eaten Alive, on Amazon or Barnes & Noble online. The truth is stranger than fiction.